The judge overseeing Donald Trump's political prosecution of New York Attorney General Letitia James hit another major snag this week, and it's a snag that seems to indicate that the judge probably going to throw the entire thing out. So here's what happened. You had U.S. District Court Judge Cameron Currie. And this past week, Judge Currie told the Department of Justice and, of course, Prosecutor Lindsey Halligan's office, the new U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Virginia, that we're going to grant the motion from the defense. So Halligan, DOJ, all you guys, you have to turn over all of the documents related to Lindsey Halligan's potentially illegal appointment as U.S. Attorney. You also have to turn over all interactions that Miss Halligan herself had with this grand jury because, they managed to get an indictment against Letitia James in record time. She had only been in office for like a week and a half, and suddenly James gets indicted. She didn't even have time to impanel a grand jury in that time or conduct an investigation to create evidence to present to a grand jury. So how in the hell did any of this happen? This, to me, I've worked in the legal industry for 21 years. This to me is basically the judge saying, listen, you guys are full of crap. Lindsey Halligan didn't do any work. You presented a bunch of BS to this grand jury. I'm going to throw it out, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to go ahead and prove to me that you didn't do anything. Okay? This to me is a very clear indication that this case is about to be dismissed. Because this is bad. This is horrible, by the way, for Lindsey Halligan. Because one of the things the judge is also, going to have the opportunity to decide, much like Alina Habba up in New Jersey, is your appointment even legal? Because based on the previous court ruling in the Alina Habba case, no, it's not. We had an interim U.S. attorney for this district for 120 days. The rule, which is section 546, clearly states you can't have more than 120-day interim appointment. Not just per person, but overall. So once one person hits the 120-day interim appointment limit, nobody else can do that. So Lindsey Halligan can't even serve as the U.S. attorney. That's pretty bad. So there's like 3 different ways this case could get dismissed within the next month. One, and I say next month because she's given them until November 5th to turn over, all the documents. Then she's going to take probably a week or 2 to decide. So it could get turned over, or dismissed, I should say, due to Lindsey Halligan not actually interacting with the grand jury and presenting a bunch of BS. That's way number 1. Way number 2 is that the judge could just say that Lindsey Halligan's appointment was totally illegal. Therefore, any indictment she issued, which would be Comey and James, completely invalid. Those are gone. And the third way, of course, could be evidentiary. If you're able to prove that the charges against you before a trial or anything like that are actually invalid, then you can have the case dismissed. And James actually has that. This is a story I reported on last week. Don't forget, there is a writer to the mortgage document that Letitia James secured from Fannie Mae in 2019 that says, oh, you can rent the property to other people as long as you are the landlord. If you go through a third party, like if you give it to a real estate company to rent out for you, you can't do that. But if you're the deed holder and the landlord, yeah, you can rent it to somebody. That's literally what she's being prosecuted for renting out a property that they say she wasn't allowed to rent, but the mortgage documents themselves say, yeah, you actually can rent it. So there is no case. There is no illegality. So 3 different ways this case could be dismissed. And we're going to have to wait a couple weeks to find out which one of those the judge picks to dismiss everything. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.